let's move into the NFL. We're doing the top 5 plays. Who started us? Let's go with let's start with Grayson. Grayson, start us off with your 5th play in the NFL here.
It's the 5th because I just know it's not going to hit. Chargers -3. The Titans are trash. Nuke is out. Henry's one guy, although we just gave up 200 yards to one guy, so maybe I shouldn't say that. Derrick Henry, much cleaner criminal record than Tyreek Hill, so I can at least root for him as a person. No violence against women or children, and Hill does both. So there's that. I have somewhat recovered from that, as you can tell. But this Chargers team is much, much better than they showed in the opener. The run game was absolutely incredible. Eckler may miss this game, but Joshua Kelly more than capable behind him. He had 90 yards in the opener. It was kind of a 1A, 1B approach in the backfield for the Chargers, and I think that's going to do at least enough to neutralize what Henry does to what was a terrible run defense last year. Bosa and Eric Kendricks banged up for the Bolts on defense. That will only make matters worse. But I think if the game is shorter because these 2 ground games are getting rolling, I think that I would still much rather have the better QB and the better skill talent through the air, just to have that 1 or 2 big play burst that could end up deciding the game. Chargers were +2 in turnovers last week. They still lost, but I think that's not something they're going to have happen very much. I'm looking for another clean game from the offense turnover-wise. Like I said, if we can even approach canceling out the Derrick Henry rushing attack with whoever we have up for this game. I really like Keenan, Mike, Guyton, Palmer, Johnston, who was relatively silent in the opener, to do enough to win this game and by a field goal even on the road.
I like that. I have a play on that game later, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I do like the Chargers. What you have an opinion on that game, Jack?
Yeah, I actually was going to take that, but I figured you would take it, Grayson, so I didn't touch it. But I don't hate it. I think, like we said, I think the Chargers offense still great. I feel like they just got burned by Hill last weekend for a sound of 2 touchdowns and 215 yards.
What happens? You play man all day. Ridiculous.
Yeah, you didn't have to say it again, Jack.
I'm sorry. But I feel like, obviously, the Titans don't have a Hill or a Waddle. So, like we said, Nuke's out. Traylon Brooks is nowhere near the level of those aforementioned receivers. And as long as the Chargers can't stop Derrick Henry, they should easily cover that.
Yeah, that's a big if, though. But
yeah, bet Henry over 201 yards now. That's just every week somebody's getting 200 yards. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. I don't hate it. My number 5 play is the Lions and the Seahawks under 47.5. Geno didn't look good, unfortunately. Oh my God, Aaron Donald running at him. I get it, but you can't be a starting NFL quarterback and saying that out loud. You just can't. But it is Aaron Donald. But they look bad against the Rams. I don't think they're going to get much better that fast. And I like Detroit. Their defense looks good. It was just a 41-point game with the Chiefs, which I know they were without Kelsey, but still. So 1 unit on the Lions and Seahawks under 47.5. Jack, your number 5 play of NFL.
My number 5 play, I got a unit on Ravens +3 over the Bengals. I feel like that's a hot take right now because the Bengals look extremely bad last weekend. They just couldn't get it going, but I feel like the Ravens, the Ravens always play AFC North opponents really well. Lamar somehow just runs all over those teams. I feel like the Bengals don't really have a defense actually that can stop them. I know our boy Cole will not appreciate my comments, but I just feel like this is a steal at Ravens +3 at +100 odds. So I feel like that's pretty good money betting wise.
Oh yeah, that reminded me, by the way. The Chargers -3 right now on FanDuel is +100, so that's even money.
I did see that, yeah.
Speaking of odds, but let's move into. I don't really have a play on that game. I heard something on the radio today driving into work that it's typical of the Bengals to start slow. So I think I heard somebody saying that they like the Ravens this week. I'm going to stay away because I feel like the Bengals have to bounce back after that. But I like the play. I think that it's going to be a close game. I'm going to start us off on the number 4 pick of the week. Mine is just simple, Packers money line. Last time I checked, it was minus 108. I think it is at where'd it go? Plus 100 right now. They're in Atlanta. I don't think I like Bijan, but I just don't trust Desmond Ritter. Watching as a Panthers fan, watching them, they should have beat us by about 40. It looked like, and they beat us 24-10, and that was with 2 interceptions from Bryce Young, one being the exact same as the other. The Packers looked pretty good. Their defense looked well. Jordan Love looks pretty good, and this was all without Christian Watson. I think he's still questionable right now, and Aaron Jones is questionable. Last I heard, I don't think he practiced today. So this is really going to be dependent on tomorrow. We'll really know injury report wise, but I still think that they're the better team, even if they are away. So I'll take Packers money line.
Well, JC Horn's out too.
He plays for the Panthers.
Oh, I thought you were Panthers. Never mind.
Yeah, the Packers on my 5, so I love that play a lot. A.J. Dillon more than capable of filling in. Even without the tandem of Jones and Dillon, they're going to do great. Jordan Love looked really good. Not impressed by Atlanta at all. I think they're still a couple weeks out from having Ritter really seamlessly integrated into the offense and all the skill talent they possess, but do not utilize in any way that makes any kind of sense. So, I mean, if you had Drake London in fantasy, you know what I'm talking about because he had as many catches as the 3 of us did. So, I am a big fan of that Packers play.
Yeah, he had 20 routes ran and 1 target or something.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, he was basically running wind sprints. Grayson, what's your 4th play for the week?
It's another one a little bit out of spite. Jaguars plus 3.5, getting the Chiefs in Jacksonville. Kelce and Jones both back this week, but if you watch the Week 1 NFL slate, there's a lot of sloppy play, a lot of rust. I think those 2 could each be in store for an effort not quite up to their own personal standards because if they're at their best, they're the best offensive and defensive player on the field in almost any game, especially this one. That Jacksonville defense is not great, but neither is Detroit's. So not taking too much from that opening Thursday night game. Of course, they didn't have Kelce. Kadarius Toney cannot catch any object thrown his direction. I don't care what it is. I don't know how you come back from that, at least respect-wise within your own locker room. But he very well might shut me up this week. I like what the Jaguars have on offense, skill talent-wise. Tank Bigsby tried to hand the Colts that game with some of the stupidest plays I've ever seen in my life, but he was a rookie playing his first game. So, ETN did more than enough on the ground. Thankfully, made up for some of that. Trevor Lawrence continuing his ascension into the top-tier quarterbacks in the league. And I think a home – I don't know if I'll go as far as to say win. I really think they have a great chance at it. I think people see Chiefs, see the ring, still fresh from last season. This Kansas City team beat the Jaguars both late in the regular season and in the playoffs. So maybe a little bit of bias from that. But I'm also biased because I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. But I really love their chances, and I love it even more with hook attached to it. At +3, I would just take money line, to be honest with you. I think, what's that stat? 84% of games, the spread doesn't actually matter the last 30 years, including 14 of 16 games in Week 1. So if you like the dog, take the money line. But in this case, if you're going to give me an extra hook against the defending champs, I will be glad to take it.
I like that bet. I think the Chiefs will, like you said, it'll take a minute. I know it's Kelce, but it's going to take a minute to integrate him back in, especially after a knee injury like that and him being what is he, 32, 33 now? How old is he?
Early 30s. Yeah.
So, how about you, Jack? What's your number 4 play of the week?
Great minds think alike. I too like Jaguars at 3.5. Basically, very similar things Grayson said. I mean, I'm going to repeat them. I'm a fan of Sunshine. I did say Trevor Lawrence, dark horse MVP. He looked good again. He looked decent against the Colts. I mean, granted, I think I could look decent against the Colts. I mean, whatever. We saw how good Calvin really remembered us, how good he is. And even if the Chiefs double team him this weekend, they still got Christian Kirk, who balled out last year. I think he sees more plays this week. I might even go out on a limb and say the Jags win this game. So I might bet that money line on the dog. But I feel like the Jags at +2.5 is too good not to take.
Yeah. Kind of piggybacking off what Grayson said, for anybody that does listen to our videos, I know we it just depends. 84% of the time, if you're taking the dog, the spread doesn't matter. They win outright. So I like that there. And then also, what was it? It was like if it's either the home team, the favorite covers, or the dog wins outright, right?
Right. The favorite wins and covers, or the dog wins outright, which of course they cover the number there. So that is 84% of NFL games the last 30 years. And again, much more recently, last week, 14 of 16 games, the spread did not come into question. I'm assuming based off closing lines. So,
Yeah.
Line shop throughout the week. If you like a number, take it. If you're sensing a little bit of public steam, you want to get on the right side of that, whether you like where that number is heading or not. So, timing is big, especially with how sharp the NFL lines are. So you got to really keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Before we move into our third picks, there was another trend. I think it became pretty popular though. It's a dog and the under. I think it hit like over 70% last week. I'm pretty sure. Or
I believe it went 6 and 10 as a 2-leg parlay, but at those for a 2-leg parlay, that's more than enough to break even. It was up 4 digits for $100 better. So
okay, yeah,
very, very good start for that.
I don't know where I got 70%, but I know it was up in money. So that might be something to look into. If you like making a little bit of extra money there. So Grayson, start us off with the third play on the slate.
It's the Niners. I was against them last week. I didn't know how Brock Purdy would look. It didn't matter. Christian McCaffrey's still on that team. Brandon Ayuk had 2 touchdowns. The Niners players were wanting the Steelers to get first down so they could stay off the field. I just think this team is a touchdown better than most teams in the NFL, even on the road. Los Angeles, we've mentioned it 100 times. Not a lot of home field advantage there. Something weird going on with the Rams. Stetson Bennett on the reserve list. I don't know what's going on with that. The team has been pretty tight-lipped. McVay was essentially a no comment when pressed further on what's going on there. Obviously Stafford QB1 unquestionably, but just something just seems off about that. Hopefully Stetson's okay. But I just think this Niners team is going to overpower teams like we saw in week 1, to be quite honest. The defense can have its moments. Nick Bosa back obviously is a huge boost for this team, and we saw that against a pretty competent Steelers offense. Now, they struggled last year with Pickett in year 1, but this is a Steelers team a lot of people are high on, including myself, and I expected a close game. And I was very, very wrong about that. So I will give the Niners the respect they deserve. And the Rams, big win over Seattle in week 1, but I'm much more confident in the Niners carrying over from week 1 success, even on the road. So I like them minus the 7.
I actually have a play on that game too. So Jack, carry us on with your third play of the slate.
My third play is a little same game teaser. I got Dolphins -3 and the over 46.5 at +229. I feel like the Dolphins are just offensively just so much better than the Patriots. Granted, the Patriots did just put up 20 on a really good Eagles defense, the defense I believe is better than the Dolphins defense. So I feel like, you get a 28-21 game, there's your hit. And there's your hit for both. So, I feel like the Dolphins are easily, you could even all spread line shop the +6.5. I think Dolphins could be touchdown favorites in this game. I just feel like that offense is way too good for the Pats, regardless of the Bill Belichick defense or not. And it's plus odds, so why not?
Yeah, I think the reason their defense looks so good is because when you give Bill Belichick over however much time you want to give him to prepare for that first game against the Eagles, he's going to bring some stuff that they've never seen before. What did you say you got the line at? Dolphins, was it Dolphins money line?
The Dolphins -3 and the over 46.5 at +229.
Gotcha. I like that. I think that the Pats are not going to look as good this week as they did the first week. But my third favorite play is Rams under 18.5 team total. It's minus 106 on FanDuel. I think that the 49ers defense is just, I mean, out insane. They destroyed Pittsburgh, who has far more talent than the Rams right now. The Rams overachieved last week in the eyes of everybody on the planet, it feels like. The Rams haven't scored over 17 points in, I think it was 4 out of the last 7 games versus the 49ers, including the 2 last year. So I also, just another stat just to back me up a little more, to make me feel more confident. The under's 5-2 in their last 5 meetings. So I like the Rams under 18 to kind of regress a little bit to the mean. All right, Jack, take us off with the second favorite play on the
Second favorite play, I got Giants Cardinals under 39.5 at minus 104. I feel like these two teams, it's a battle. These two teams are freaking atrocious. We got Josh Dobbs versus Danny Dimes, and Danny Dimes just put up a big old 0 against the Cowboys last week. Sorry, Larry, your newer voice, but I just feel like there's no way either offense is putting up. This game could finish, 17-14, 14-10. Whoever kicks a couple of field goals, I think wins this game. And heck, we go out there, play on either team offensively and put the same numbers they're doing right now. So at minus 104, that's just some great odds, honestly.
Yeah, that was our face off there to see who went positive last week. And even though I went 6-0 in college football, I went negative by choosing the Giants because I jumped on the bandwagon. I swear we're all picking kind of the same games here, but I have a play on this game, so I'm not really going to comment where I feel on that one right now. Grayson, take us off on our second play.
You stole my beloved Packers from me after I hit it on last week, so I will pivot to a bet format I really like from Jack, same game teaser. So I'm going down to Dallas. I'm going to get the Cowboys down from -9 to -3, and I'm going to tease the total down to 32.5 and take the over. This could very well only require points from one team. We just mentioned Dallas last week, 40-0 over the Giants. This Jets team had a big win Monday night. That's going to be the highlight of their season. Zach Wilson is a lot of things. None of them are very similar with Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers now might still be better than Zach Wilson. I would also take broken thumb Aaron Rodgers over Zach Wilson. So I don't know what they're going to do in the veteran QB market to try and resolve what is now the same quarterback room that held them back last year, even with the elite defense they continue to have. And we saw that for large parts of Monday night, picking off Josh Allen 3 times. Well, the same guy did it, picking up a fumble as well. So I think both defenses could create some short fields, and the offenses, at least the Jets, even if only on the ground, are capable of punching in for points there. So I like the same game teaser, and that's going to be Cowboys -3 and over 33.5.
I'm telling you what they're going to do. They're going to Superman, Cam Newton, bring him back. Bring him back. No, I'm just kidding. I like that play. The only thing that scares me is the Jets' defense. They held the Bills really well, but I think 32.5 is very doable. My second favorite play for this week is Chargers money line, and then Keenan Allen is currently set at 68.5 for receiving yards. I would like to take him down to about 50, maybe 60, depending on odds. But the odds on FanDuel are not showing up, so I actually cannot say the odds right now because FanDuel is just, I don't know why. I found his total on Prize Picks, so I'm hoping they're about the same. This will get me to over even money, I would assume. And I'm kind of with you on the -3. Grayson, but I just kind of wanted to get a plus 100 play here. I think Keenan Allen is going to get enough targets to get to the at least 50 probably for me. But if I can get him at 60 with decent odds, it'll be there.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, we already talked about that game, so it's understandable. How about Jack? You start us off. Your favorite play. We're last go round. Favorite play of the NFL slate.
Favorite play. Staying with the boys. I'm thinking Colts plus 1.5 against the Texans, minus 115. Feel like the Colts almost backdoor covered for me last week. That would have had me at 4-1 or whatever. But it wasn't meant to be. We saw the Texans last week. They looked horrendous. CJ Stroud did not look good. They just don't look. I mean, heck, we could play for the Texans right now. I'm not gonna lie. Too bad they trade away the first round pick next year, because I'd say tank for whoever, but they gave it away. I feel like the Colts, they look decent. I mean, not non-biased aside, they look decent against the Jaguars, a team that I thought it was to be a 2-touchdown game. It ended up being a close 10. Like I said, almost backdoor coverage. Could have been a 3-point game. But that is my play of the week.
I mean, unbiasedly, yeah, they did look better than what I expected. I will admit it. AR, I think it was a lot of game plan though and game scheming. They didn't make AR do too much. He didn't try and push the ball downfield a lot. Like, they made him throw easy short passes for the most part and let him use his legs to create. So I don't hate the play. I don't think the Texans are good, but I did take the Colts under 6.5. So I'm kind of rooting against you there, Jack. Grayson, what's your favorite play of the week?
It's one of the better coaches in the league. I picked him to win Coach of the Year at 14-1. It's the Steelers plus 2.5 at home on Monday night. I think the Browns did well Sunday. They beat a very hyped Bengals team by a lot. Frankly, wasn't close. The only thing that looked worse than the Bengals was the weather. But we've seen that from Cincinnati before. Burrow coming back from a calf injury wasn't quite driving the ball. When you went back and looked at the all-22, I saw a couple of interesting angles of that. Maybe not having quite as much on the ball that kind of threw him off. I mean, this Cleveland defense played really, really well, so that it wasn't all just Burrow being not himself. He was not allowed to be himself by the Cleveland defense as well. But this Steelers team, I think, is, as I mentioned, very well coached. They've got a lot of capable pieces. Cam Hayward going to be out for a while. Deontay Johnson as well. That hurts. But I think that as the backfield potentially evolves into a dual threat with Jaylen Warren entering the picture as well, that's going to be a bit more difficult to pre-plan for. So I'm hoping to see a big bounce back from the Steelers. The Cleveland Browns were last 2-0 in 1993. None of the technology involved in this entire production was invented then. None of us were born then. The games were probably in black and white still. And the Browns are garbage. Led by I've mentioned enough alleged charges in this episode, so I won't touch on the Browns quarterback. So very very hands-on. Subject. It's very over. 20. Whatever. It's going to be an AFC North battle. We've seen some great games from these teams. They're not the shootouts we see in other division matchups, but I have full faith in the Steelers getting right at home, and I think them being a home dog to this Browns team is honestly disrespectful and one of the bigger overreactions to Week 1 as far as how the lines read to me. So I was dead wrong about the Steelers in Week 1, but I love their chances of bouncing back at home in Week 2.
I really like that play. I was looking at it. I love the Steelers money line. I think Kenny Pickett just looked really bad, but it's also against the 49ers, so it's kind of understandable. Right. I also think, like you said, this is a huge overreaction to what the Browns did to the Bengals. I mean, the Browns just have Joe Burrow's number. I wasn't necessarily – I picked the Bengals just because they're better, but I wasn't necessarily shocked by the result because he is now 1-6 versus the Browns. So I really like that play. Jack's going to love my number one play because I'm going back to the wagon, baby. New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, -2.5 alt line over 34.5. So me and Jack going facing off again. I don't care. Saquon, Danny Dimes. I wish Bryce Ford Wheaton was still on the roster, but he tore his ACL in the preseason. But on a real note, I think this is a perfect place to bounce back. They just ran into a buzzsaw. After halftime, they did not look like they wanted to be there. Also, Cardinals are getting a little public. It jumped over that mark for me. It's at 54% on the spread on the Cards and what is that line at? 5.5?
4.5.
4.5 right now? Yeah, 4.5. So I'm gonna take it down to that key number. I wouldn't hate it at the over 34.5, but I am gonna take it to -2.5 and over 34.5. And any thoughts there, Jack? Me and you going against each other again?
I mean, it's a little different since I have the under total points. It's a little different, but the fact that you have faith in the Giants after they let you down at a 3.5 spread last week to get 40'd. So good luck with that. That's all I have to say.
New York Football Giants in the Mecca. Okay, well, that's all we got. Do you guys want to talk about the Eagles for Thursday Night Football, or do y'all want to hop off here and try and get that tweeted out before it starts?
We can talk about it real quick. I'll check my games. We can tweet it out though. So I have Vikings +6.5 and over 48.5. Same game teaser at +207. And then my parlay for that is Jettas, Madison, and AJ Brown anytime touchdown at +1247.
I went same game teaser as well. Eagles down to Pick'em over 43.5. Those are both 6 points. So whatever your normal 6-point teaser odds are, that's what that is. Stayed off parlays, but I do have some TD scores I like. Hawkinson +210, Goddard +200, Addison +225, and Boston Scott +250. If those lines sound trash, it's because they are, and I live in a state that does not offer good lines because whoever runs South Carolina from a government perspective hates free money and wants our roads to stay shitty for the rest of my life. So with that, I turn it over to Larry.
I got the teaser too. So Eagles -0.5 point, and then the over. So we're backing that together. And I also have DeAndre Swift. I think it's over 53.5 rush yards. I think they're going to dominate the offensive line. The Vikings front seven is not great. So I got him sent with Gainwell being out. I think that they're going to give him the ball a little bit. I did look at his rush plus receiving, but I just decided to just take the rushing yards on that. So that's all we got today. I think we're going to flirt around with YouTube Live next week. Maybe do a Thursday night special and then see how that goes and hop on and possibly do our podcast on Friday, depending. So
with a potential guest.
With a potential guest in the guy, Danny. All right. Peace.
Peace, boys.